Welcome everyone. This is chapter 3, homework 7. Can you guys to get through this? We are working on number 77. For each of the polygons formed by algebra tiles below, sketch and label the shape on your paper and write an expression that represents the perimeter. All right, so A, hopefully you already sketched it, but you also need to add in a couple extra things. For example, that has a length of X, but that little block also has a length of 1, or it has an area of 1. So that also has an area of 1 also. So that's 1, and this is also 1. All right. So sketch, which is here already. So basically you just label it and write an expression that represents the perimeter. So the perimeter is all the way across. So if this has an area of X, that means that the length times the width has to come out to be X. And if that's 1 right here as well, then that means that this has to be X. And if that has the area of 1, then that means that this is 1 and the width is 1. But we don't need that because that's on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that. Okay. And similarly, if this has a area of Y, then that means that this perimeter length right here is Y, and then the width here is 1. Okay, but we don't need that because that's on the inside as well. Okay, and then again, if that's 1, then that has a perimeter on the outside length of 1. That has a length of X. This has a length of 1. This has a length of X. This other side over here has a length of 1. This right here has a length of Y. This has a length of 1, and this has a length of X. Right, so we want to write down perimeter equals, right, and I'm going to start over here at 1. And I'm going to go towards the top and all the way around. So, and it doesn't matter which way you do it. So that's 1 plus X plus 1 plus Y plus 1 plus X, because I'm right here now. I went through all these already. Okay. And then plus 1 plus X. And I'm going to do the rest. Plus 1 plus Y plus 1 plus X. Right. So plus 1 plus Y plus 1 plus X. Okay. So that's all for number 1. Or sorry, letter A. Okay. And it says simplify. Simplify your perimeter expression as much as possible. So that's the second thing we want to do. So we're going to rewrite this as P equals, and I'm going to count all the ones, right? All the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go ahead and start this off with P equals 6 plus, and I'm going to go ahead and count all the X's. I'm going to put it in blue. So 1X, 2X, 3X, 4X. So it's going to be 6 plus 4X. Now I'm going to do all the Y's. I'll put this in purple. So 1Y, 2Y. That's about it. So plus 2Y. Okay, and that's your answer for number 1. P equals 6 plus 4X plus 2Y. You cannot put any of those numbers together. So the best you can do is leave it like that. All right. So the rest of them is going to be pretty similar. You're just going to have to make sure you go all the way around and do each one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on, can't zoom in as much, I guess. So on B, I'm going to go and go all around, right? But first, figure out what your area for this is. So this is X and this is 1. So your perimeter is going to be X, 1, 1. That's 1. That's 1. That's 1. But this piece right here, this whole thing should be X, just like how this side is X. All right, but we don't need that whole side. We need that side take away that much. And we know that that much is 1. So that side right there in red is going to be X. But then remember, I erased the little bottom part, which is 1. So X minus 1. So for B, the perimeter is, I'm going to start here at X and go all the way around clockwise. So it's going to be x plus 1 plus x minus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. All right. So I went all the way around. I start at x, 1, x minus 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And I added all of those together. Oh, sorry. Okay. So that's going to be my perimeter, and I need to make sure I simplify it down. So that's going to be P equals for letter B. I'm going to count all my x's. So that's going to be 1x, 2x. That's about it. And then I'm going to count all my 1's. Right? So I got 1, but take away 1 makes 0. So these two actually cancel each other. So so I got 1, but I take away 1, so I'm back to 0. So I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the answer would be 2x plus 4 for my perimeter. That's B. Okay. For C, we have, I'm going to go ahead and we make sure that we count all the find out all the areas. So this is a algebra tile of 1, algebra tile of 1, and algebra tile of 1. So because it has an area of 1, we know that the length times the width is 1. And if the length is 1, then that means the other length is 1. So these are all 1s. Okay. So no. So we got all of those ready. So I'll actually mark all the ones that we got. So we got 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So far we got perimeter equals. Okay, and then let's do the rest of it. So this whole side right here, that has a length of y, because the area is y squared. So that means that the length times the width has to also multiply up to be y squared. So that means that they both have to be y. Okay. And if this length is y, then that means that this length is also y. And for this xy rectangle, it's x times y to get that. So if that length is y, then that means that this bottom length is x. Okay, and then that means that this side length over here, that's also going to have to be y. And that's the one we're going to count. We can't count the one that's on the inside because that doesn't count as a perimeter. So now we got almost all the way around, except we have, I'm going to say this little blue part right here. Okay, this blue part is the same length as this part at the bottom where it says x. Okay, except we don't want all of that blue part. We want that blue part, which is x, but we want to take away that itty bitty little part 1. So that blue part right there, that's going to have a length of interesting, a length of x minus 1. And you can do the same thing. We need this part right here, the length of that. If you measure it, that has exactly the same length as this part down here, which is y. Okay, but we don't need the whole thing. If you look at it, we don't need this part, so minus 1. And we also don't need that part, so minus 1. So that other blue part has a length of y minus 1, or we could say y minus 2. So perimeter, we're going to put it all down together. And I'm going to start with, I don't know, I'll start with the purple going counterclockwise this time. Okay, so I'm going to write down P equals, we go y plus x plus y, and that's it for the bottom part. That's it for these right here. And I'm going to go plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So we did these three right here. 1, 1, 1. We don't count the one that's on the inside because that's not part of the perimeter. And then we're going to do the outside, or the little blue part right there. That's going to be x minus 1. So plus x minus 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and count this part. 1, 1, 1. And again, we're not going to count that inside part. So we're just going to go plus 1, and plus 1. So plus 1, and plus 1. And then we're going to go ahead and count this blue part, which is y minus 2. So plus y minus 2. And then we've got plus 1, and plus 1, and we're done. So plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So that's all the perimeter for letter C. So we want to say perimeter equals, and then we need to combine all the like terms, all the similar looking numbers and letters or variables. So let's start with the y. So we got 1y, 2y, 3y's, 4y. So I'm going to write down p equals 4y. And then we also have 1x, 2x. So plus 2x. And then now we have the numbers. Okay, I'm going to put it in black. So we have 1, 2, 3. But then take away 1 is back to 2 because these cancel. So basically we just got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then take away 2. So we can say like this 2 cancels out 2 of these. Or 8 take away 2 is 6. So we have a final answer of p equals 4y plus 2x plus 6. And that's your final answer. Okay, last one. Letter D. Okay, so we need to go all the way around again. It looks like letter D already has all the areas done for us. So let's see. Actually, so I'm going to go ahead and make myself some space. I notice I've been stacking up the writing on top of each other, but we're really just focusing on letter D. All right. So letter D, I'm going to go around starting with my left-hand side. So that length right here, just like how the ones that we've done before, this is going to be the length of Y, and this length is going to be 1, 1, 1. This length has a length of X. This is 1. This is X squared, right? So if X squared, then if I was to find out the length and the width for each of those, it would have to be X and X. All right, and this length, a little tricky. Now this whole length right here is the same as the length of Y. You see that? It's the same size. So that's the length of Y, but we don't need all of that. Actually, in fact, we need very little. So we need to go Y, which is the whole thing, but we need to take away 1, and then we need to take away X. So that length right there is Y, take away 1, take away X. Okay. And then the remaining length, this is going to be 1, 1, and 1. And again, I'm going to go ahead and start counting from the left side. So my perimeter for letter D equals Y plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So we'll go Y plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus X plus 1 plus X plus X. Okay, so plus X plus 1 plus X plus X. Then we got that part right there. So that's plus Y minus 1 minus X. So plus Y minus 1 minus X. And then the last three parts, plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay, so your finale is you got to simplify all this, make it look as small or as simple as possible. So We're going to simplify all the y's together. So y, 1y, 2y, and that's about it. So we will have 2y. Okay. And then we also have, we'll go over all the x's. So we got 1x, 2x, 3x, and then we have a negative x. So essentially 3x is minus 1x, where you can say one of these x's cancels with one of those x's. So that leaves us with just 2x's. And then lastly, I'll put this in purple. Got positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But then we got to take away 1. Right? So 7 take away 1, or one of the negative ones and cancels with the positive one, and you are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's plus 6. So your final answer, P equals 2y plus 2x plus 6. Okay, that's number 77. That took quite a bit of time. Okay, 78. Let's see. Use what you know about the slope and y-intercept of the graph. Oh, to graph it. So this one should be pretty straightforward. This one, we know that all equations should be, all line equations should be in the form y equals mx plus b. So in this case, the b is your 3. That means that that's where you're going to start graphing, which is at positive 3. And then another situation is that this is going to be the slope. This tells you how to move from that b with a y-intercept. So the slope is right here. It's negative 1 over 2, meaning that if I start at this point right here, if I go down 1 right here, and then over 2, 1, 2, I end up right here. Okay? So my slope is down 1 and over 2, and I end up with those 2 points. And all I have to do is just draw my line through it. Some people I know like to keep doing down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and that helps you make a straighter line if you like. And in the opposite direction, up 1 and over to the left 2. Just continuing that line on. Up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. And if you do this, you can draw your line right through there. Don't forget your arrows. Okay? That's number 78. 79, write the equation of the line containing the points. Right? So again, we want to write the equation of the line. It needs to look like y equals mx plus b. And in order to do that, we need the slope and we need the y-intercept, or the b. Okay, you can utilize any 2 points. Right here, that tells you that the x value is 2 and the y value is 2. The x value is 4 and the y value is 3. X value is 6 and the y value is 4. And the x value is 8 and the y value, y is the same as f of x. The y value is 5. So you can use any of those 2 points. Okay, I'm going to pick the 2 easiest numbers for me. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite them as points. I'm going to go ahead and use the 2, 2. And I'm going to go ahead and use the 4 and 3 because those seem like smaller numbers to me. Okay? And the first thing we got to do is figure out what the m is. To find the m, I got to use my y's and I got to subtract those. So if you remember, m, the slope, is going to be found by taking the y's and subtracting them, or finding the change in the y. Okay, so the change in the y is going to be 3 minus 2, and I'm going to go in this direction. Okay, you can go in another direction. You can say 2 minus 3 if you like, but you got to keep that same format. So again, my change in y is going to be 3 minus 2. Then I'm going to divide that by my change in x, right? And so my change in x is going to be, and remember I started back with 3 and I went and did minus 2. So I'm going to have to do exactly the same. I'm going to start in the back. 4 minus 2. Okay. So 3 minus 2 makes 1. 4 minus 2 makes 2. So my slope is 1/2. So right here in my equation, I can replace that m with 1/2. Okay, next I need to move on to the b. Right, and to find the b value, I need to use the slope-intercept form one more time. So I'm going to write this down. Y equals mx plus b, right? And the good news is we already found our m, which was 1/2. We already know the slope. Now all we need to do is find b, and since we're looking for b, we won't be putting in a number because we don't know what b is. But we do know the number for x, and we do know the number for y, which is either one of these up here, okay? But you need to just pick one point, decide on one point and use it. And for me, I'm going to use, let's go with 4, 3. Okay, you can use any one of those points that I circle in the 4 different colors, but I'm going to go ahead and use the numbers 4, 3 as the x and 3 as the y. All right, so I'm going to say 4 is my x and 3 is my y. So I'm getting it from here, x and y. Okay, and I'm going to work this out. So 3 doesn't do anything. It doesn't change. 1/2 times 4, you can use a calculator, but I know half of 4 is 2 plus b. And now I just got to solve my equation and subtract 2 from both sides. And I get my final answer of b equals 1. Right? So now I know that b over here is going to be the number 1. And that's the end of it. Right? So my final answer, y equals 1/2 x plus 1.